I'm going to record it. I'm sorry. We're recording. So, do you have a dream and are you willing to fight for it? So, people come to the United States in search of that opportunity. Now, I was born in Trinidad and Tobago, and here's the difference. In Trinidad and Tobago, unlike here, you know how I could literally walk out my door at 10 o'clock in the morning, go down to the city hall, and I get a DBA certificate, right? Anybody can attest to this. And within 25 minutes, I'm in business. Can everybody agree with that, right? We in business. That is not how it is around the world. In a lot of countries, the hoops you got to jump through to get a business license, to start a business, it is nerve-wracking. And now with digital marketing, for those of you that are truly looking to make digital marketing your next lane, with digital marketing, if you're really that good, you may not even have to get off your phone in order to start to launch your business right now. And that's why I said I got to bring my wife in here, because having a DBA and having an LLC and all of these are things that we can do, right? If you have the money to pay to form an LLC and all that. Now, I will say this, I'm not an expert in this area, but I will tell you this. Everybody doesn't need an LLC. You can operate as long as you have certain things, certain parameters in place. You can do that. Everybody doesn't need to go start an LLC. But the reason I asked that question is this. Many of us, and anybody by show of hands in the chat, how many of you have gotten so frustrated just with life that you just stop dreaming? You just kind of settle into going to work, coming home, doing, even though you know that inside of you, you got something, there's more that you can do, right? I'm not the only one. Hey, oh, okay. All right. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Welcome in, Miss Sonia. Welcome in. Happy to have you. Welcome in, Miss Sonia. Welcome in. The visionary behind this amazing platform. And so, hold on. Can you guys still hear me? Okay, good.
I can hear you. It looked like she's frozen in there because it's just saying joining.
Yeah,
is she in? Sonia, are you in?
No, she's not in, because I'm still seeing the same thing. It's okay. All right. Maybe she may need to jump out and come back in. Okay, hold on. Okay. All right, I'll let you handle that. Okay, so great. So again, the question was, do you have a dream and are you willing to fight for it? And then I asked, how many of us have been guilty of just kind of settling into the rut of life, right? And sometimes that's very real. It happens. We have kids, we get married, or we get a job, or we do this, and then we just kind of cruise along and we forget, we stop fighting for the things that are embedded in our spirit. Now watch this. How many of you, and you guys can put it in the chat, no matter what you do, no matter how much you're making or how great that job is, how great whatever you're doing is, that there's that one thing that keeps calling you. Every time you turn around, something's reminding you of it. Something saying, man, I need to be doing that. I should be doing that. Maybe I need to look at doing that. How many of you that's happened, that's either happened to you or it's still happening to you now? Okay, Kim says it. Felicia said, okay, good. So I'm not alone when I say this, right? It's not just me. All of us are going. And one of my mentors, Dr. Miles Monroe, the way he describes it is that, okay, there you go. More streams. Okay, Lanisha. I hope I pronounced it correctly. So Dr. Miles Monroe says that constant reminder, that constant voice that you keep hearing, that's your spiritual assignment calling on you. And this is how I like to describe it. I often say to myself, and I tell my audience, I, right, on my day of reckoning, when I'm face to face with the Lord, and he says, he goes, Sundiata, I sent you on this journey called life. I gave you these gifts. I gave you these ideas. I gave you these dreams, these visions, et cetera, et cetera. Why did you not maximize all of it? How many of you would say that you wouldn't want to be the one trying to explain to God why you didn't fully maximize the potential or fully live the dreams that he planted on your spirit? I know I don't want to, right? I don't. And every time I bring that up with an audience, I see a ton of hands go up and people are like, wow, I've never thought of it like that. So when you hear that spiritual knocking, that little voice telling you, hey, do this, do this, do this. Now, remember, I will be the first to tell you, it ain't easy because it's not supposed to be. It's not a smooth ride in the park. It's not going. There you go. Okay, somebody, Lanisa said, I don't either. I want to travel in ministry and it takes money. Exactly, exactly. So we're going to talk tonight about how you can put in place those goals, those dreams, and make them come alive. But remember I said it's 3 quotes and a question. So the first question was, do you have a dream and are you willing to fight for it? So I hope everybody's written that one down. And the thing about having a dream, right? Or the thing about having that one thing that keeps calling to your spirit is no matter, I don't care what you do, I don't care where you go, I don't care who you meet, something always comes up to remind you of that or to bring that to the forefront. It don't matter. And I can tell you when it comes to my speaking and all that stuff, my wife Pam, I remember when things weren't perfect, right? I used my anxiety and my seizures as an excuse for me not to speak anymore. And I'm saying it's an excuse because I know the people who know me know that this is me through and through. This is the gift that I've been given. This is the thing that I've been blessed with, right? This has been a dream of mine since I was a kid. And then all of a sudden, I'm saying, okay, Kim, I got you. I'm saying to myself, man, I don't want to be on a stage talking and I have a seizure and so on and so on. I Sundiata Ferguson, I was guilty of using that as an excuse to not speak. And for a couple of years, I think for a couple of years, Pam just kind of let me ride with it. You know, when we were in our network marketing company, I wouldn't want to go up in front of the room, and then I would find little slick ways to push her to the front of the room to talk and all of that. And what started happening was by doing that, a couple of things happen. When you don't go after the dream that has been planted on your spirit, remember this is goal setting and vision casting. Okay, welcome in, Ramona. Just be safe, okay? Please be safe. When we don't go after the dream that's been planted on our heart and on our spirit, there's a couple of things. One, we're being disobedient to the assignment that we have in our life. Two, we're robbing the world of the gift. We're robbing the world of the gift that we've been sent to give, right? That's what we're doing. So we have to be very, very, very careful that when we hear these calls and when we hear these dreams keep popping up and popping up, that we're not ignoring them and being disobedient to our assignment. Because I promise you, no matter what you do and how far you try to run, it comes back full circle. No, and look, somebody put it in the comment. God will not leave you alone. He won't. Because if you've been given an assignment, right? If you've been given an assignment in order for his will to play out the way it's supposed to play out, some way, somehow, the fulfilling is going to take place. And we can go through the Bible and we can find, like, for example, I'll use Samson as an example. Samson was a womanizer and a drunk. Yet at the end, blinded by his own behavior, God still used Samson to free the Israelites. And we can find all these men and women throughout the Bible who didn't want to answer the call on their life, didn't want to do what they were supposed to. And so in fact, let's do this. If you have your journal and your notebook, now, I know how many of y'all are doing the 16K in 90 days challenge with us? How many are doing the challenge and you're kind of following through day by day? Don't? Okay, me. All right. So did everybody, I know on the first day, Sonia gave some instructions. She in the first few days, she suggested that bless you. She suggested everybody get some sticky notes. How many of you? Oh, 1 second here. Hold on a second here. Let me do this. All right. So I kind of muted everybody just to. All right. So I have my performance journal. For those of you that don't know, I'm a not only a fan of the Ziegler family, I'm a Ziegler legacy speaker and coach. So a lot of the stuff I use is Ziegler. So I have the Ziegler performance journal and the Ziegler performance planner. Look, you ain't got to get that elaborate. Think about it. All of you are part of what? Academy 6 and some other academies, right? Digital academies. Guess what you got in your digital academy? Journals and planners. So Anita Wells said, I haven't heard Ziegler in a while. That's old school. Oh, no, we the new school generation are carrying his legacy forward. But anyway, so here's the deal. You don't have to run out and go buy a planner or a journal. You've got that already created, okay, inside of your academy. So I would recommend find you one of the journals and the planners that you like, customize it, and start with that, right? I saw somebody said, I'm trying. Look, listen. The reason I ask who's doing the challenge is because sometimes it's easier for us to get moving when we're a part of the whole, right? And there's support and there's encouragement. Don't think I don't want anybody tonight to feel like, listen, you may not have made your first sale yet, or things are not flowing as smoothly in the first 10, 11 days of the challenge. My responsibility is to remind and to encourage you that you understand that it's okay. It ain't supposed to be a smooth, perfect journey. But know this, you have support, you have encouragement, you have resources inside of the academy. There's nobody here in the academy who's perfect and has it all figured out. None of us. So we're here to ask questions. We're all here to learn and grow together. Exactly. So welcome, Katina. Katina says, I'm new, so I'm learning what this process is as well. So I would say go to the PLR vault and find you a journal or a planner that touches your spirit. And there's a few of them in there. And pick one, print it out, and start using it. So you don't necessarily have to run out and go buy a planner or a journal. I am a Zig Ziglar legacy speaker and trainer, so I do use his planner and journal. I love them. So everybody has that. Everybody has their sticky notes. Okay, so I asked everybody to write down the question, and the question was, do you have a dream? Or you can ask it, do I have a dream, and am I willing to fight for it? Now, I want everybody to write down one thing. What is that one thing, right? What is that one thing that has been coming back to you no matter what job, no matter where you go, no matter where you've traveled to, there's this one thing that's been on your heart, been on your spirit, right? That it's like a burning when you think about it. I want everybody to take a second and just write down whatever that one thing. You don't have to tell me what it is. You don't have to tell anybody what it is. I would caution you. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So Sonia just put the ebooks and so on from the vault, the link for the vault in the chat. Grab it. Figure out which one you want if you haven't gone to the classroom and looked at. Because I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how this thing works. I don't know how it works, but I do know that when you write it down and you transfer, right, from the unseen and the invisible, right, you're bringing from the spiritual into the physical. There's something beautiful that happens there. And you know the Bible talks about in the beginning was the word, and then the word became flesh, right? And so that's what it is. That vision, that picture is that, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, a word is really the equivalent of 1,000 pictures, which is why we have to be careful what we're speaking. Again, this is not your typical, we just go, okay, write your goals down, and this is, we have to unpack what is keeping us from achieving all these goals. Because I can tell you, and my wife is a living witness to this, right? With all my gifts, with all my strengths, with everything I'm able to do, there are times where I have fallen short because I have allowed some of the things we're talking about to stop me in my tracks. Right? And one of the things that's powerful about her is, how sometimes you can be not even in a relationship or a friendship, but just have people around you who are afraid to tell you the truth. And sometimes when you have the people that want to tell you the truth, you don't want to hear that. There's the people that you don't even want around you. But see, I'm grateful because she's not afraid to tell me the truth. And we all need that. We all need people in our circle who are willing to tell us the truth. Call us on the carpet to be who we truly are supposed to be. So I want everybody to, like I said, if you're just joining us, welcome. The first question that I let everybody off with is, do you have a dream and are you willing to fight for it? And then I ask everybody to take a second to write down something that's just, every time they think about it, it just like, it sets you on fire. You're like, man, I have to get this done. I have to do this for you, for your family, for legacy, whatever it is, right? Write that down. Okay. So the second thing I want to give y'all, it's not a question now. This is one of the three quotes. The second quote is, I know my friend who's my co-host, Vanessa, she's heard it before and she absolutely loves it. It is this: dream so big that you have to ask God for help. Let me repeat that again. Dream so big that you have to ask God for help. See, when you talk about that dream or that vision, whatever it is you have, people got to look at you like, what is Anita talking about? What is Sonia talking about? Man, Sonia over here talking about helping 1,000 women become six-figure earners in the digital marketing space. That's insane. That's insane. Oh, wait a minute. Vanessa, isn't she like a single mom? She over here talking about making six figures and traveling all over the world and all that? No, man. See, here's the thing. And I want y'all to write this down. It's time. This is the core of all my messaging. Oh, radical thinking. This is what you call a conscious interrupt. Right? This is what you call a conscious interrupt. So Isaac Newton said it best. He said, There you go, Sonia. It's time. It's time. So Isaac Newton said, an object in motion stays in motion unless it's interrupted by another object of equal or greater force. So this right now is what is called a conscious interrupt. This is where we all have to, okay, grab a hold. There you go. So thoughts in motion stay in motion unless it's interrupted by a different thought. You know, of course, you know, the Bible talks about be transformed by the renewing of your mind. We, in some instances, we have to think differently. And as we think differently, we behave differently, and then we get different results. So here's what I want to challenge everybody to do. I want to challenge everybody because this is the centerpiece of all my messaging. It's time to stop living through the lens of your trauma. Write that down. Vanessa, why are you laughing? Vanessa's heard this. You know, we've done a little bit of some mentorship and stuff, so she's heard this. But here again, thank you, Sonia. It's time to stop living through the lens of our trauma. And believe it or not, I was having a conversation with my wife about one of our daughters. Her and I were having a disagreement, right? And my wife is very calm. She doesn't pick sides. She'll give everybody an honest, and so her and I are talking. I'm telling her my side. Obviously, as dad, I'm upset because this young lady done lost her ever living mind, talking to me like she's crazy and saying whatever. But there was two things that happened in the conversation. My wife got me to see, one, where I needed to listen to and hear where our daughter was coming from. That's one. She didn't say that she agreed with her. She didn't say that she was right. She just helped me see a perspective to be able to hear where she was coming from. And then two, something she said had me looking back into my own trauma to see how I was mishandling the situation. Yeah. So she in her own infinite wisdom didn't even realize that she gave me an answer and a solution not only to that particular situation, but to a bigger problem. So, and from that day, that has been the centerpiece of every conversation I've had. Stop living through the lens of your trauma. Because here's the deal. If you're like in my case, my father was never present in my life. I had a really great relationship with my stepfather. And I found myself a lot of times when things have happened, going back and reaching for that, saying, okay, well, my father was never there, so I didn't learn, or I didn't. When the truth is, in the moment, what's the opportunity, or what's the lesson in that moment? How do I need to listen to my daughter instead of saying, well, you know, I didn't grow up with a father, so it ain't that big a deal, and not listening to her angle of pain. I had to take off my own lens of my own trauma, my own pain, and then really step into being her father to have that conversation on that platform. And that's something that we do with our goals. Watch this. Imagine you having a conversation with Sonia, and Sonia says, okay, this month you're gonna earn, and Sonia's speaking this into your life, and she says, this month you're gonna earn $10,000. How many of you, and let's be honest here, because I want everybody to win. Let's be honest here. How many of you, the first thing you think of is, wow, I ain't never made that kind of money? Seriously. How many of you, the first thing you think about is, I ain't never made that type of money? So right away, the only thing you start seeing yourselves within the parameters of limits that you've been used to. That's one of the reasons why a lot of us are not successful with our goals, even our health. How many of you have seen somebody with their health? They say, "Oh man, it runs in my family." Okay, cool. But the truth is, as a holistic practitioner and a licensed naturopath, I will tell you, there's no such thing as hereditary diseases, only hereditary behaviors. Right? We only do the things that we see our parents do. So we Katina said, my analytical mind will try to figure out how. Okay, I got you. But see, and the reason why your analytical mind is trying to figure out how, Katina, is because that is a form of procrastination. That's literally, that's like, you know what that's like, Katina, and everybody on the call? That's like you planting a seed in the dirt and then digging it back up, trying to figure out how the seed is supposed to grow. Think about that. That's what we do to our goals. So we have to stop living. Dr. Kimberly, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it to hurt, but again, the whole point of this call, the whole point of the conversations and the things we're doing in Academy 6 is for everybody to understand. Look, if we keep looking at life, if we keep looking at people, if every time something happens, the first thing we default to is we go into our mind and we start drawing for past experiences. When are we going to truly enjoy the good of our goals? When are we truly going to enjoy the journey? That's 16K, right? That's 16K in 90 days. Some of you think it's all about just making the 16K, and that's cool, right? There you go. Day 4 of the challenge. Let it go. That's cool. Making the money is cool. I am the last person to tell you that ain't what you got to focus on, because we all need the money. Trust me. Lord knows I need it. With the kids, the grandkids, we want to make sure that we set them up for life. But here's the deal: who are you becoming in this process of unfolding? Who are you becoming in this 90-day challenge? Which direction, or how are you stretching to become more? And that's with your health, that's with your relationships to the people around you. I realized something in that moment when my wife kind of gave me perspective about the conversation with my daughter. I realized that it wasn't just my daughter I was doing that to. I did it to her. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to be, we are so caught up in our own trauma that we don't even realize what we're doing to the people around us, and we don't even realize how much we're digging up our seed. There you go. You are what you think and speak. Whoop, never thought about it like that. Again, it's like you plant the seed and you're holding on to so much of the trauma of, oh, you tried this and this didn't work, that you literally dig the seed back and say, well, that ain't gonna work. Or you talk to one person about this digital marketing thing, and that person says, nah, this ain't real, that's a scam, that's impossible, and you dig up the seed. But see, again, let's start back. Let's go back. That's it. I want to be transformed into the person God is calling me to be during the process. Kingdom builder. There you go. That's why I'm asking these questions. Before, again, it's easy to tell you the mechanics of goal setting. That's simple. Picture what you want, write it down, identify the steps you need, identify the people you need, identify the obstacles that could come up, and then go to work. That's simple. The mechanics of this framework of goal setting, that's easy. That's the easy part. But this right here, this is where the work is. How do we get this stuff, this clutter out of our mind so we can truly walk into who God is calling us to be? I heard someone just this morning say, I haven't got the energy to keep dodging other people's trauma. It's real. There you go. But guess what, Anita? Sometimes the trauma that we're dodging is our own. And the way we do that is we use it as a shield to not take the risk, not go into the business, not talk about the business, not look at having a new relationship, not starting a we do that. So again, we start off with the question, do you have a dream and are you willing to fight for it? Okay, the second quote was, dream so big that you've got to ask God for help. Okay. The third thing, the third one is, you are a seed for more. Yeah. Do you have a dream and are you willing to fight for it? That was the question. The next quote is, dream so big that you have to ask God for help. Number three, in terms of unfolding and unlocking these goals, you are a seed for more. Well, Sundiata, what does that mean? Okay. I think I typed this as one of my daily posts recently, and I talked about how many of you right now, you may be juggling a full-time job and you're trying to build this digital marketing thing and you're feeling overwhelmed. The bills keep coming, the kids need things. I mean, and you feel like there's so much on you that you don't know which way is up. Right? There you go. So here's let me put this into perspective for you. And I'm gonna keep using the metaphor of the seed and planting and all that stuff because all of this involves growth, right? We're here to grow. The same dirt that buries is the same dirt that grows the seed. So you're feeling overwhelmed and frustrated and angry, and you're feeling like you're buried. You're feeling like you're spinning in mud. You're feeling like you're doing, oh, see, I feel like I'm doing a lot and I'm not accomplishing much of anything. Okay, well, let's unpack that. Imagine, remember what number three is. You are a seed for more. Think about what a seed has to go through before it finally brings forth its fruit. So the seed could be you, the seed could be your goal, however you want to look at it. But think about that. The first thing that has to happen is the seed is buried in darkness. In some cases, the dirt is wet, it's muddy, it's cold, but it's in darkness. All of us came from darkness into the light. All of us, right? The seed and the egg came together, and for 9 months we were protected, we were nurtured, we were fed in darkness. So we oftentimes think that the struggle that we're going through is a bad thing, but it's actually an opportunity for us to grow. So the seed is in the darkness. Remember what I said. We see the seed in the darkness and we start, oh man, I buried it under all that dirt. Let me pull it up. But guess what? That same dirt that you had to put the seed in is the same dirt that is feeding it. It's the same dirt that is protecting it from the birds eating it and flying off with it. Right? It's the same dirt that has to provide protection for the seed to grow its roots, to stand up. So that dirt that is weighing you down is the same dirt that you need to start growing. It's the same dirt that you need to start finding. Because here's the thing, every challenge you face right now, ladies and gentlemen, every challenge you face is giving you an opportunity to learn and grow. Let me give you an example. How many of you in the chat would say you're not very creative? How many of you would say that? Just type, put me or one or something in the chat. You would say that you're not very creative. Now, for those of you, let's see, Joanne, Teresa, Katina, okay. All of you said, oh, Vanessa, don't even start. Okay, Anita says, I'm too creative. Okay, all of you said that you're not creative. Out of all of you, how many of you are mothers? Watch this. How many of you are mothers? Okay, Joanne's a mom. Okay, Vanessa, I know you're a mom. Kim, okay. So all of you said that you're not creative and y'all are moms. There's no way under the sun that you can be raising children and you can tell me, Sundiata Ferguson, that you're not creative. Because to be a mom takes a whole type of creativity. I don't even think there's a category for that type of intelligence when it comes to being a mom. There's not. So, for example, when your kid is halfway asleep, but is fighting sleep and fussing, all of you moms on here have figured out how to get that little baby to go to sleep. Creativity. When the ends don't meet at the end of the month, all of you moms have at one time or another figured out how to keep it going. Creativity. In fact, let me share something. So I played soccer in Germany, and what was bad about what I did was I made 7 figures playing soccer, and then I wasted all that money, came back to the US and had to file for bankruptcy, right? So I remember my ex-wife and I, we had gotten some bills, and it was like the water bill and the light bill or something like that. But I remember taking a check, right, writing it out to the water company, and then writing out the check that we still wrote checks back then, writing out the check to the light company, and then switching them. So I sent the light company check to the water company, and then the water company check to the light company, and sent it to them. Don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me. So I sent it to them, and then they called me. I was like, "Oh, Mr. Ferguson, we got your checks. Thank you. However, this is the light company saying, well, you sent us the check for your water bill, so we'll send it back, and then we'll give you a 2-week extension on sending us the check." But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, that same creativity it took me to come up with that, I could have used that to come up with a way to generate income. So this ties back to what I'm saying. As a seed, all right, you are a seed for more. As you're being, well, Joanne, that ain't gonna work now because everybody pays their bills online digitally, so that ain't gonna work now. But what I'm saying is, exactly, Sonia, everybody is more creative than they think. And then when you are in a situation where when survival becomes a necessity, okay, that same dirt is pressing on you, is the same dirt that's feeding you something that you need to learn to climb out of it. Yeah. I know y'all thought this was just gonna be another, okay, write down your no, because none of that matters. The mechanics of goal setting don't matter if we don't take care of this. If every one of you don't start seeing yourself as the winner that you were created to be, none of it don't matter what goals you set. If all of you don't start seeing possibility and don't start seeing that God has more in store for you, even though things are not perfect, even though everything is not the way you think it should be right at this moment. And the funny thing about it is, I used to really stress about things, but one thing I've learned from my wife is none of that matters if you're not going to figure it out and find a solution. We can talk from now until the cows come home, as they say. And she's always, You know, she'll have that one conversation, and then she's on to solutions. And I think even though I'm the speaker, that's been one of the most powerful lessons I've learned from her. And that's even in living with epilepsy. I remember, I don't even know if she remembers this conversation. We were sitting at her mom's house, and I remember her saying to me, "We've got to figure this out so that we can help some other people along the way, so that they don't have to go through this." And we were talking. I was like, and in my head, I was like, "Man, why I gotta help other people? I'm over here struggling and you know." And but I think without her even realizing it, or maybe intentionally, she was trying to get me to out of that whole woe is me zone and to figure it out, right? And it's the same thing with all of us here tonight with our goals and the things that are pulling on us. Again, you are a seed for more. So that's the first thing. The seed has to break itself open. That's your creativity. You're going to have to break yourself open. You're going to have to realize that, listen, wait a minute. If I'm a son or a daughter of the head creator, and genetically, right, then genetically I am predisposed to being creative. That's why when people tell me they're not creative, I just kind of smile, because that's not true. If we're made in his image and likeness, all of us have creative ability. We think of creativity from a perspective of art, and oh, I'm not artsy, or I'm not this, or I'm not that. But that ain't necessarily creativity. You see what I'm saying? So we're going to have to break ourselves open. You are a seed for more. Again, going back to the analogy of the seed is buried, and then the seed has to break itself open. Once it breaks itself open and the roots take hold. So the roots taking hold, let's see, but it is so easy for me to help others see this in themselves versus doing this for myself. Well, that's why you're here, Kim. So that way, while you're busy helping others see that, I'm here to help you see that in you. And so is Sonia, and so is Katina, and whoever liked the comment, right? We're here to help each other see that in ourselves. So you are a seed for more. So the seed has broken open, and now the roots are taking hold. You know what the roots are? The roots are the first few days of the challenge, when you feel like, how many of you, let's be honest here, how many of you, when you I would say the first 5 days of the challenge, as you were doing the task that's on your listed, you were like, you were still thinking, you were still doubting, you're like, I'm not sure, and you were thinking about it. How many of you? Come on, let me see how many brave souls will put it in the chat. Me, okay, Felicia, okay, all right, Felicia. So you said you. I am a mental block. Okay, so those first few days, that's you break the seed that is you breaking through, right? Um, does everybody have their sticky notes? See, when the roots take hold when we start doing the little things. When we start doing the little things. So we've got our sticky notes, we've got our journal. Look, again, remember what I said. We're in a digital academy. You don't have to run out and go buy a journal or a planner. Just grab one that resonates with you and start using it. Right? So the seeds are now. Okay, good. You'll have yours tomorrow. Good. The seeds are now starting to take root. Listen to me. No fruit can come forth unless we have roots. None. Unless we have roots, because remember, the fruits need something to hang from, and the thing that it hangs from is the the trunk of the tree growing and spreading the branches and then bringing out the flowers. But none of that happens without the roots. Thank you, Miss Sonia. I appreciate it. Right? None of that happens without the roots. So this is in your goal setting. Just to even start, you've got to look at yourself in the mirror, and you've got to know beyond a shadow of doubt that you're going to get it done one way or the other. Now, I will tell you, it ain't gonna be easy, and it ain't supposed to be easy. If think about think about think about again from the aspect of a seed. Do y'all understand how much pounds of pressure is bearing down on that seed? You're talking about dirt plus the force of gravity. My wife and my daughter and I, we were just having this physics conversation in the car the other day. So for those of us that paid attention in physics in school, there's all the force of the weight of the dirt, not to mention that invisible force of gravity pressing down on it. And a seed, once the roots take hold, now it has to push up against that. That's what you're pushing up against that. Every no you get, that's gravity pushing down on you. Every negative person that you encounter, and you will encounter some. And you know what's funny about negative people? Again, this is going back to living through the lens of trauma. You know what's funny about negative people? Negative people are so quick to tell you what you can't or won't or shouldn't do based on their own limitations. That's the funny thing. So like I mentioned, Sonia telling you, hey, you're going to generate $10,000 this month. This is the game plan. We're going to work it. And then somebody comes and says, oh, that ain't realistic. Well, it's not realistic to you because you're not willing to do the work. And we'll talk about that when you set your goals, right? Realistic is relative to the work that you're willing to do. And that's with everything. Is it realistic to think you're going to fix a relationship that you're not communicating with your spouse? Is it realistic to think that you're going to lose 10, 15 pounds and you're not eating certain things, or you're not willing to work out? We're not even willing to do the walk, right? So, and then the thing is, you have to be willing to understand and to know, right? You have to know that what's realistic for you. And I think when we can take ownership of that, we put ourselves in a better position, because we're not subject to other people's whims. We're not subject to other people's opinions. We're not subject to other people's definition. We're not subject to other people's negative push on us, right? So we're not subject to that gravitational force. Instead of it pressing us down, now it works like a child. When a child is fighting against gravity to stand up, gravity helps make its legs stronger. That's what's happening. There you go. All right. You are a seed for more. Ooh, let's see. Okay. And the last one, the last of the quotes. I'll go over them and we'll talk about this. There is power in your purpose. And then I'll start pulling all of this in, and we'll walk through the goal setting here. There is power in your purpose. Now, I'm a huge fan of Dr. Miles Monroe. He's probably one of my favorites. Ghost mentor. Never had a chance to meet him, but one of the most powerful things I heard Miles Monroe say is that purpose is the original intent. So I always, excuse me, ask my audience, what's the original intent? What's the original intent? What's the original intent? So Academy 6, right? It's not just digital marketing to make money. It's solving a problem. See, Digital Academy gives every one of you the opportunity to see yourselves through a lens that's better than the lens that you're currently looking through. And I'll keep saying this. It's time for us to stop looking at ourselves, looking at our situations, looking at each other through the lens of our trauma. Because when we do that, all we see is this limited vision of pain. And I can tell you, there's a certain aspect of my own mental health struggles that has helped me climb over. Being able to truly, stop looking at I for the longest while, I was encouraging people, and I would always question, why is it my family abandoned me, so to speak? And that's a whole nother story for another time. And for too long, I kept looking at myself as this person when I was no longer that person. I had gone on to play soccer in Europe. I had a very, very distinguished career in the United States Army. I'd been fairly successful in network marketing. I mean, I was able to pay off my student loans, do all that stuff. And yet, every every time I had to measure myself, it was based off of the fact that I didn't grow up with my own family. I grew up with strangers, and there was this sense of abandonment, and I kept always tracking back to that, and I had to let that go in order to get beyond a specific point. So there's power in your purpose. So if purpose is the original intent, and you have a dream hidden inside of you that you're supposed to bring to the world because you're supposed to give your gift. I don't know what it is. Faith Evans, I don't know what it is your gift is. There you go. She's smiling. I don't know what it is. And I'm not picking on you. I'm just randomly calling the names as I see them on the screen. But there's something in you, Faith, that you've been assigned, okay, to give to the world. And here's the beauty of it. There is power in that. Now, Academy 6 is just a tool, like any other tool, okay, to put you in a position to give the world that gift. Right? To give the world that gift. Like for me, even I've been blessed to be able to use words to speak and do all this thing. And one thing, I was praying this morning because, just to share, I turn 50 next year. And one of the things I've decided to do, so this is one of my goals that I'm sharing with y'all, is a 50-mile ruck march. I know every time I say that, people look at me like, are you insane? Cool. And part of why I want to do that is I want to do some fundraising for this organization that really helped me get my life together and so on, called the Adaptive Training Foundation. And I want to turn it into this big event. And while I was doing that, I said, man, if I can, or when I can accomplish that 50-mile ruck march, then I'll be in really good physical shape. And it will be the time when we are so financially free that my wife and we can just take off and travel, and the kids, they're gonna have to figure it out while we gone. I mean, but most of our kids are grown anyway, right? And while I was praying and I'm saying this, I'm saying, man, that will be the time when I can truly bless my wife the way she deserves to be blessed, right? With me being really in good shape, not worrying about seizures, not worrying about, the issues I had with my heart early on, none of that. And then from a financial standpoint, we just get on a plane and, I owe her a trip to Vegas. I owe her, now I don't know how far across the ocean she's willing to go, but I definitely want to take her. Because I lived in Germany for 3 years, I want to take her to Greece. I want to take her to certain places in Europe to see some of the beautiful parts of the world that I've been able to see. I want to take her to South Africa. Now, I don't know how that's going to work, because that's I think, what is that, 18 hours, Jared said? You remember? Yeah, it's about an 18-hour flight. So I don't know about that. But all I'm saying is, ladies and gentlemen, is that the beauty of all of this is that it's all tied in. The fact that you are a seed for more means there's room for growth. All of us. None of us are complete. The only time we're complete is when we go meet our maker. That's when you're complete. That's when the race is done, right? But right now, all of us, there's still room for growth. And if he continues to wake you up and give you breath, there's an opportunity to grow. Do you have a dream? Is there something inside of you that's been, oh my God, Faith, is there something that you've been thinking about, and no matter how far you go away from it, this one thing keeps coming back to you, right? All of us, we all have that. And again, like I said earlier in the call, that's part of our spiritual assignment, and we cannot escape that, no matter who we are. And I told y'all, I don't want to be the person going back to God and having God ask me, hey, I sent you with this gift. Why didn't you use it? I sent you to do X, Y, and Z. Why didn't you do it? No, none of us want to do that. So let me recap the 4 things that I gave y'all, and then we're going to kind of walk through the mechanics of this goal setting thing. The first one was, do you have a dream and are you willing to fight for it? All right, and I know some people came in late, so I want to make sure they get this. Do you have a dream and are you willing to fight for it? The second thing was, dream so big that you have to ask God for help. See, man can doubt, God can do. I'm just going to leave it at that. Man can doubt, God can do. And I would tell anybody, I don't care what your faith is, what your religious background is, what your belief is. I know that I'm a living example of God's grace and mercy. After everything I've been through, everything I've seen, some of the things that I've seen that life has had to offer, I promise you that I am a living example of God's grace and mercy, and all of you are likewise. Okay, so do you have a dream and are you willing to fight for it? Dream so big that you have to ask God for help. You are a seed for more. Man, this thing that you're going through, this roadblock you're facing, that ain't it. That's just part of what is working for your greater good. That test, that struggle that you think you're facing, listen to me. It is strengthening you for a time to come. And lastly, there's power in your purpose, which means that the original intent of you being here is bigger than even you understand right now. Do y'all, I'm sure most of us on here, all of us here, have seen the movie The Black Panther. Do y'all remember in Black Panther, right when he was trying to decide whether he was going to go after Killmonger, and they had the Council of the Elders, there was that very elderly lady, and she goes, Wakanda does not need a warrior. She needs a king. Do y'all remember that old lady? Anybody can remember that old lady? She actually passed away recently, but y'all remember her. Do y'all know that Black Panther was her first acting role at 88 years old? I want y'all to hear this. This lady was 88 years old when she got her first acting role. Go look up her story, and again, and the beauty of it is that her family is going to continue receiving royalties from the Marvel franchise. Yeah, and so she was in the Black Panther, and then she was in the second one, and then she passed away not too long after that. Yeah. Think about that. 88 years old, her first acting role. Thank you, Miss Sonia. I appreciate that. And so, look, this whole goal setting thing and vision casting thing, I implore all of you, those three state quotes and that question, take those, put them somewhere, and go back to them. Go back to them and walk yourself through them as you're doing this. Now, let's walk through the mechanics of this goal setting thing. I want to any brave soul want to come on the line, and we'll talk through this. Hold on a second here. Let me share my screen while I'm doing this. Share. Okay. Let's see here. Let me see. All right. Can everybody see my screen? You guys can see my screen, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I need one volunteer. Anybody?
This
I'll
is Kim. I'll volunteer. Oh.
Who's this? Who's
Lenita.
talking? Lenita? All right, Lenita. Okay, good. Awesome. All right, let me. All right, Lenita, you and I are gonna walk through this. All right. So you have the workbook, correct?
I don't.
You didn't download it. That's all right. That's all right. I can still talk you through this. Hold on a second here. This thing. It's been giving me problems. Let me pull it back up. All right. So when you download the workbook, Lenita, we'll make sure you get a copy of it. When you download the workbook, you'll see the cover, the very first page of the workbook, ladies and gentlemen. So Lenita, the very first page of the workbook is what we call the life wheel. And it's divided into, it's a circle and it's divided into eight parts. And the parts are labeled as follows, Lenita. It's excuse me, health, money, significant other, personal growth, fun and leisure, home environment, career. That's one. There's two of them. I did two of them. The other one, there's another life wheel that has personal growth, health, friends, finance, career, spirituality, recreation, and relationships. So you can choose whichever one you want to use. Now, if you picture, Lenita, I'm sure have you ever had a bike?
I have.
Okay, so if you think of a bike wheel, right, the spokes shoot out from the center. All the spokes join at the center, and then they shoot out to the rim of the wheel. Correct?
Yes.
All right. So you think of you're thinking of your life wheel like that, and then you're thinking of it divided into a pie, like a pizza, basically. It's cut up into these portions. And what you do is, let's say you decided to work on your finances. The very first thing you got to do, Lenita, is give yourself a grade. So, for example, do you think on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, where do you think you are when it comes to your finances? I'll tell you, I think I'm at a 2. I'm not even gonna sit up here in front, but there's a reason why I think that. But where do you think you are? You give yourself a grade.
I say a 4.
Okay, so Lenita says when it comes to her finances, she's at a 4. Okay, what about your health? Where would you give yourself a grade?
8.
8. Oh, that's good. That's really good. Okay, what about your career? Because career and finances are separate.
My career, I would say I'm at a 8.
8. Personal development or personal growth, where would you think you are?
I would say a 9.
9. Okay, so 8, 8, 9. Okay, 4. What about your spirituality?
I would say a 9 for my spirituality.
9. Recreation?
Ooh, okay. So my recreation, I'll give myself a 5.
A 5. Okay. So so basically, ladies and gentlemen, what you do is you look at the life wheel, you take each area and you give yourself a grade. Listen, this is not meant or designed for you to beat yourself up. What this is designed for you to do is to take an accurate look at where things are currently. And remember, I told you to don't look at yourself through the lens of trauma. So if you don't feel like your a specific area is at a 10, it's not designed for you to sit there and be like, oh my God, my job. No. It's for you to just identify it and keep moving. Once you go around the wheel and you mark off, let's see here. Hold on. Somebody in the chat says, LOL, because I'm known for beating. No, Felicia, we don't want you beating yourself up. So you go around the wheel and you join the dots that you mark on the different areas of the wheel, and you join it. So obviously, if one area is at an 8 and another area is at a 4 and a 5 and whatever the numbers are, it's not a smooth circle, right? Because all the areas are not 10. So one of the mistakes I see people make when they start setting goals is, and I think I know Sonia mentioned this in the challenge, is they try to do everything all at once. But here's what I will tell you. The thing is that when you start making little changes in specific areas, those little changes start helping the other areas or the other aspects of your life. Okay, so, all right, here we go. So after you've identified that, Anita, do me a favor. Pick an area that you would want to work on first. What area would you want to work on? Finance, recreation?
My finance.
Finance. Okay. So, all right, yeah, Vanessa, you need to stop being hard on yourself. So, following the life wheel in the workbook, you'll see a SMART goal sheet. But what I want y'all to do, I want y'all to follow with me, and when you get your workbook, do this, all right? Okay. After the SMART goal sheet, that's just kind of a guide for you to set your goals. There's a blank page, and it says on this page, write out your dream list. Write down everything that you would like to be or love to be, do, and have. All right. And here's the thing. How many of you have ever talked to a child today and they tell you, well, I want to be X, 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 X. And then tomorrow you ask them the same question and they give you a totally different list. And what do adults often say? Hey, you got to focus on one thing. Really? Okay, cool. I get it. We're as parents, we think we're protecting them, right? But what we're doing is we're stifling the dream muscle in our children. So as adults, we don't do that anymore. So that's what that page is for. That page is for you to just sit down, take a minute, look. And again, remember what I told y'all. You have to dream so big that you got to ask God for help. So, like I said, I want to take my wife to Greece. I do. I want to take her to Spain. Spain is one of my favorite countries. All right. Now, I don't know if my wife wants to sit on a plane for 18 hours. I just know that it's a dream for me to take her to those places. Right? A big dream of mine is to have a 2,000-acre farm to help to use for veterans with PTSD. So, Lenita, with two questions, I'm asking you two questions in one. I'm asking you, when it comes to your ultimate dream, when it comes to your finances, do you mind? First of all, let me ask you, do you mind sharing publicly?
Oh, that's fine.
Okay. Do you have like a really big dream that you don't mind sharing with us?
I do.
Okay. Floor is yours. Go ahead.
Okay, so one of the things that I desire is to have a ministry that's worldwide, that's global, and also be able to assist those who have been homeless, and I'm just going to say the area that I live in, that I recently moved in, Atlanta. Atlanta seemed to have a lot of homeless people just out there in the park, and like certain parts that you go to, you see them out there. And so actually I did some outreach at the end of the year and at the beginning of the year. And it's just like, I did it with my resources, and the other person that helped me did it with their resources. And they may have gotten a few donations because they'd done it in the past. And it was so sad that in no time, everything was gone. They was waiting on us when we got there. And so, part of, the issue is, I don't have resources that come in. And so, today I was just thinking, I said, well, I got my website set up, online ministry. And so I said, perhaps I need to go on and connect, like where someone, if they want to donate, then it's there for them to donate. Because, my mindset was, I don't want to ask people for money. Well, I started thinking today, okay, just put it there. You're not asking them for it.
I got you. So can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So is the ministry going to be now you said global, but is the ministry going to be responsible for helping the homeless?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. So that's going to be one of the things on your dream list. And part of why you know that you have to get your finances right is because you have this mission ahead of you, and you need time freedom. That's one thing. You need to be free. You need to be financially in a position to be able to take the time to go do the outreach and all that. I love it. Great. Perfect. Do you have another big dream that that you don't mind sharing with us? I just want you to share two of them with us.
Well, it's related to the ministry, as well. Is just being able to like have a way that young men can be mentored. And that's another
men's
thing
mentor.
that
Okay.
it takes finance for. Is
Okay.
just that, not necessarily me, but I know somebody that does it, but it's a challenge because you can't really do it the way you want to because of finances.
Okay, good. So everybody that's listening on the call, right? Do y'all realize what she did? And again, remember what I said in the beginning, that everything is tied together. So she has this big dream, but when I asked her to identify an area on the life wheel, she identified an area that she knows for a fact is affecting her bringing this dream to reality, right? And sometimes that's where we need to start. Sometimes, though, for example, we can also do it in another way. So she needs to generate the funding for this business, right? What if she decided that she was going to focus on the career space? Now, she told me that, I think you told me your number in career was an 8, correct?
Yes.
Okay, right. She told me that she was in terms of her career, she was at an 8. What if she decided to set a goal that in that particular career, she can maximize whatever the earning potential is there. And then also, as she's building this digital marketing career, y'all see where I'm going with that? So she's building that other career that she has initially. She's maximizing that. She sets that as a goal. And then she sets a goal to really maximize her digital marketing career as well. So now she's got these two amazing careers, but guess what she's also doing? She's also increasing not only her earning potential, but her earnings. So she said, and I quote, "I don't want to ask people for money." So what if she just set a goal to earn? She ain't asking, she's earning it now. She's earning it through her digital. You see what I'm saying? So what I want you to understand is, and I think Sonia was very eloquent when she said this, don't set a million goals to work on a million things, but focus on some specific areas, grow there, and then everything else will start falling into place. Because check this out. If you're not well right now and you focus on working on your health, you'll realize that your earning potential improves. Your ability to speak with confidence improves when you feel good, right? When you don't feel good, you can't produce, you can't perform well. So for those of you where health may be a struggle and the walking plan may not seem like much, but you will be amazed at how much you can perform if you just feel 1% better. And I'm sure Sonia understood that when she put that in the plan. And I think I was listening to something where she was saying that if you go around and you find 10 CEOs of some of the most successful companies in the world, they will tell you that they themselves do at least 30 to 45 minutes of cardio every single day. That ain't no accident. So bringing this back now. So when you get the if you follow through the workbook, that I gave you like 4 pages of dreams to write out. And some of you might be like, Sundiata, that's a lot. But I did that because the line spacing is a little small. So just keep writing. Just keep writing. And then after the dreams, there's 1-year goals, there's 3-year goals, there's 5-year goals. And then there's long-term goals. So that's 5 years and beyond. All right. Let's talk about the process. Okay, so let's see here. Let me ask you this. So we're working on your finances. What's the specific goal that you have when it comes to your finances? Let me give you an example. For me, right, this is my goal that I set. And this is how I word it. You don't have to specifically word this. I just know that all the goal setting trainings I've been to, one of the things they always recommend is speaking in the present tense as if it already happened, because the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and when it's already happened. My wife reminded me about this phrase: imagination is images in action, right? So it doesn't know the difference. So for example, mine would be, I'm so happy and grateful now, okay, that I am earning $1 million annually from my speaking, coaching, and training business. From this 1 million earnings, we're going to be donating a minimum of $10,000 a month to some of the charitable work that Pam and I want to do. Right? That's how I wrote that goal out. Now, at that point, God bless her, she ain't gonna have to work no more, right, babe? Right. Okay, so do you have a goal? I want you to frame that goal for us in terms of your finances. What's the goal that you have?
My first goal is to be debt free. Okay,
Debt-free.
and so actually that's why I'm working, because I've actually retired.
Okay, all right. So if you remember the SMART goals, it says be specific, measurable, et cetera, et cetera. Now, you don't have to tell us what your debt number is, but when you identify and you write this goal down, I want you to reframe it to just say be debt free. I am grateful that I am debt free, and then give it a date. That's the measurable part of the and the time specific part. So for example, like for me, right, when I wrote my debt-free goal, I wrote, I am so happy and grateful now that we are completely debt-free on December 31st, 2025. You see, you understand me? Just put in the chat if everybody's kind of following with me here. I want to make sure everybody's getting this, because we had to make sure we took care of the mindset stuff. Now we're doing the mechanics part. All right. So you got that, right? So I am grateful. I am happy. I enjoy being debt free, and you give it a date, right? That's the identification of the goal. In that SMART goal formula, the reason why it's telling you to be specific, right? Is because the way the mind works, right? The way the mind works and the human psyche works, especially men, we have to lock in on the one. It's called the one. And the one is that thing, that finite thing that we work towards. It's like think of it like this. Think of it as the center spot in a bullseye. That's what it is. It's the center spot in a bullseye. So you know that. Now, she has already told me that by getting her finances together, okay, it will enable her to start building this ministry. So y'all notice on the second the second section, it says identify the benefits of achieving this goal. Right? So, hey, one of the benefits I know for me, or for her, actually for her, is, okay, she can now build her ministry. oh, by the way, that ministry is going to help homeless people. And you can go as this area here is for you to, you can go as detailed as you need to be. This is remember, this is you having an intimate conversation with yourself, right? As you're identifying these. The third thing, identify some of the obstacles. Okay. Lanisha, you're working, correct? No, you're retired, but you're working. Wait, did I mix that up?
That's correct.
Okay. So you're doing that, and then you're doing this digital marketing. So one of the obstacles is time. There's only 24 hours in a day, and physically, right? If you have to work and you're building this digital marketing space, some days you're going to be tired, some days, and you need to identify that. You know why you need to identify it, folks? So that on the day when you come home and you're so exhausted, you just don't feel like going on social media, you don't beat yourself up. Because here's what's happening. Every time you beat yourself up is an attack on your subconscious, and you're fighting, okay? You're fighting the realization of your dream. Bye, little mama. Pam's taking our granddaughter downstairs. They've been in here with me all this time. But anyway, so think about that. Every time you start beating yourself up and you start criticizing yourself, you know what you're doing? That goes back to what I said about you're digging up your seed. It's okay to be tired. It's okay some days to feel like you don't want to do it. But here's the thing. We have to be very careful how we speak to ourselves. We have to be very careful what we say about ourselves, right? And see, the enemy works in such a crafty way that if the day you decide that you're physically exhausted and you can't put out quality content, you're just going to rest, the enemy will have you thinking, see, I knew you didn't really want this. Subconsciously, you start saying, yeah, man, you know you ain't gonna make no 16K in 90 days. I don't know who you fooling with. And then the enemy takes that and stretches that into self-talk, self-doubt, self-loathing, all those things. So we have to be very careful to identify those obstacles. Okay, now here's the thing. Identify the skills or knowledge needed to reach this goal. Okay, perfect. I have to learn, you're learning, which is one of the things Sonia is helping us do. You have to learn, okay, how to use social media, how to go live. How do I use Instagram? How do I use Reels? Now, look, social media is a vast pool. So I always encourage people, pick. So for me, I do use Facebook, but when it comes to my business, I specifically only use YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. That way, TikTok allows you to post stuff from it straight to Instagram. But here's the thing: when you do that, the algorithms on Instagram kind of fight you a little bit. So that's a whole nother class about using social media. But remember, if you know that you have a certain bandwidth, okay, don't try to use 5 to 10 different platforms when you're physically working a job. And then you have to physically try to keep up with all these social media platforms. Again, we're trying to set you up for success. I want everybody to win. So I want to tell you, look, you find the 3 that works for you, and inside the academy, start utilizing the modules to learn that. If TikTok is your thing, pay attention whenever Sonia goes live and she's teaching you how to go live on TikTok or go live on Instagram, if that's your thing, right? And then, pick one, go grab the others later. Because here's the thing. You know what's easier to do? It's easier for you to learn, master the skill, grow your business, grow your income, and then be able to add a social media team per se. Like, for example, my son Jamal, he's 15, just hired him to start doing some of my graphics. And that's a whole nother class of how to hire your children if they have a specific skill and all that. We'll talk more about that, right? Okay, so Now that you've identified your obstacles, for her, it would be, she's working, so time, she needs to identify that, and she's identifying the skills. The next thing is identifying groups, companies, and so on that will be assets to you. Well, she already knows. She's a part of Academy 6. That's one of her first groups. YouTube is a portal for her to also learn. There's a lot of other there's some free things that you can learn on YouTube. In fact, if she's going to get good at this, right? There's some things on YouTube that I would suggest. Write this down. I meant to put this in the workbook. The Magic of Thinking Big. Great audio. Look, again, I know that from an economic standpoint, it's a little rough right now for some of us. So right now, YouTube is a resource that we can use. You can find this for free on YouTube. Me personally, I love books. I love audiobooks. I buy all of them. That's cool. But The Magic of Thinking Big is free on YouTube. The Magic of Believing is another one that's free on YouTube. Earl Nightingale, right? The Stranger's Secret. That's another one that's on YouTube. That's 36 minutes. And you can listen, and I would recommend you listen to that every single day. Yeah, YouTube University. People laugh at that. But sometimes that's where you got to start. That's where you got to start.
Hey, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that last one?
Oh, Earl Nightingale, The Stranger's Secret. Earl Nightingale, The Stranger's Secret. 36 minutes. And Earl Nightingale is considered the godfather of personal development and so on and so on, because he recorded the first, this same talk, The Stranger's Secret, he recorded the first one that became a multi-platinum album or something like that. All right. But again, The Magic of Believing, The Magic of Thinking Big, and The Stranger's Secret. Those are three that I would start with. And the good thing is when you find them on YouTube, you find them in different lengths. Some of them have the full audio book, which is 9 hours for The Magic of Thinking Big. Some of them have it edited to like 3 hours and so on. The Magic of Believing is about an hour. As a Man Thinketh, same thing, about an hour. The Stranger's Secret, 36 minutes. It is powerful, right? So, and then once you identify those groups, companies, organizations that you need to help reach your goal, I know Miss Sonia did something where she's allowing some of the people who are able to offer mentorship. Do you need mentorship? Do you need that step-by-step walk alongside, right? Now, the individuals who are providing that mentorship, obviously, they're not necessarily doing it for free, but consider this. What are you willing to invest into yourself to get you to that next level? Like she says, mentors have mentors. Some of the greatest athletes in the world have mentors and trainers. In fact, Serena Williams is probably going to go down in history as the best female tennis player ever. You know who one of her mentors is? Anthony Robbins. And now, I'm not saying that we have to do this, but I want y'all to think about this. $250,000 for 1 hour conversation. So it's no accident that after somewhat of a slump, she rose back to the top of the tennis world before she retired. You see what I'm saying? So even the best of us, among us, have mentors. In fact, here's the kicker. Anthony Robbins, you know who was his mentor when he was young? Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn was Anthony Robbins' mentor. In fact, Anthony Robbins worked for Jim Rohn at a specific time. So again, I want you to think about it. You are worth it. You are a seed for more. So you have to decide what you're willing to invest into yourself. I'm not one of those trainers or speakers who will beat you up because maybe financially you're not there right now. So I will encourage you to find these. Now, I'll get on you if you won't even take advantage of the free resources. If you won't even go to YouTube and get some, get some mentorship and get your mind right, then I have an issue with that. Because then it's just, to me, the individual is just making excuses. And then once you get to a point where you can afford to get personalized coaching then you can do that. Ooh. Then you create a plan of action, and then you take consistent action every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing about goal setting, and I want to. We're getting ready to. I know we're about 13 minutes over, but I wanted to make sure I covered the mindset stuff. You deserve every good thing in life. In fact, let me do this. Let me stop. The rest of it is just the rest of the workbook, ladies and gentlemen, is some SMART goals sheet for you to write goals, some weekly check-ins for things to you, just some sheets to kind of guide you along the way. But let me stop sharing the screen and come back on. All right. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Every one of you on this Zoom tonight, you deserve every good thing that is coming your way. Let me say that again. Every single one of you deserves every good thing that is coming your way. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find Miss Sonia. Let me Miss Sonia, can you do me a favor and unmute?
Yes. What do you need?
Can you hear me? Okay.
I can.
All
Hi,
right.
everybody. This has been great, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I wanted to bring you up onto the call, and I just wanted you just to share your heart for a couple of minutes before I close it out. Look, you have been so gracious to afford me the opportunity on your platform to share all this. I just wanted to invite you up for a few minutes. Just share your heart with the folks tonight, because we're talking about goals and vision casting. So I'll turn it over to you for a few minutes.
Absolutely. Goals is what got me through my first degree. Guess what? I don't use that degree today because of digital marketing and digital products. I've learned the importance of not only goal setting, but also if you're trying to see your way out of what has been stuck in your subconscious your entire life, and you got to think about you've been molded into that individual. And Trevon has shared some really great insights on how to get your way out of that thinking, how to mold yourself into a new mindset. Listen, the subconscious is a powerful thing, you all. And the thing about it is, with your subconscious, you can't see it and you can't touch it. And see, a lot of people don't even realize that it's there. And because of that, we've been taught to think inside of the box. And a lot of us are thinking inside of the box, is inside of that 9 to 5. But I want you to know that every single thing inside of the 90-day challenge is intended to not only actually challenge you, but help get you out of that thinking, out of that mindset, and out of those old habits that we've grown ourselves into. And this is the season, this is the time for you to take hold to action. See, action equals income. You got to take action. So what does that mean? That means I'm going to do the work. And if you're willing to do the work, everything else will fall into place. And I just want to say thank you so much for this tonight. You hit on a lot of key points, even for myself, and it was really great having you here. You've been such an inspiration, and you really dug deep. And I really like the idea of you really taking out time to get people to think a little bit deeper. That is really important. Critical thinking skills, you all. And let me just say this: we all have from 10,000 to 65,000 thoughts a day. And believe it or not, 80% of those are negative. So in order to get out of that mindset, in order to get into a new mindset, just know that every single thing inside of the challenge is designed to help you to get out of that mindset and give you real, actionable goals that you can take to get where it is that you want to get at the end of this thing. Thank you so much again. Y'all hear my grandbaby in the background. I wasn't planning on coming in, but I just want to say I really thoroughly enjoyed this. And I hope that you all were able to take something, because you really hit on some things for me tonight that I even needed. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome, Sonia. And again, I have to thank you. Sonia was so gracious to take some time out about a week or two ago just to talk to me and share her heart and her vision. And it's not always easy to share your vision with other people, right? Because like in this day and age we live in, it's above all else, you gotta protect your heart, but you also have to protect the vision that God has entrusted you with. We have to all be good stewards over this gift, this vision, and so on. And so I'm grateful to her for just entrusting me as a voice on the platform and allowing me to come to the platform and just be me. And I'm grateful that she has made the platform in such a way where she's not trying to turn everybody into her, but she's inviting everybody to utilize the tools so that they can be the best versions of themselves. So tonight, again, I wanted to really dive into that. And let me close out again the question: do you have a dream and are you willing to fight for it? The three quotes: you are a seed for more. Dream so big that you have to ask God for help, and there's power in your purpose. So I hope everybody got a chance to that. And I'll go back and I'll post it in the academy as well and under the general discussion, because ladies and gentlemen, all I know is this. I know that God has given me a second chance through everything I've been through. And with that second chance, I know I've been called and I've been assigned to touch people and to reach people through words and through language and all the things that I'm doing. And in doing that, I know that every one of you, right? When I say you are a seed for more, that ain't just a quote from my book. That is something that I truly, truly believe. I don't know how to see. I don't know how to look at people and not see the light in them. So when I speak to people, I intentionally try to root out the best of them, right? So I speak from the perspective that I already know every one of you on here is going to be successful. I speak from the perspective that I already know every one of you deserves to be successful. The thing is, some of us, we're still looking through that lens of our trauma, so we can't see it yet, right? And I think somebody reached out to me in the group personally, and they were telling me that they're struggling with visualization. And when I asked them, and when we were talking, and I said, "Hey, so what happens when you're visualizing?" Well, and you know what they told me? They told me that all they can see is it going wrong. All they can see is people telling them no. You know why? Because they're only seeing themselves and what they're doing through the lens of trauma they've dealt with before. And that's okay. That's okay to think that there's going to be, it's not going to be perfect, but guess what? There's 8 billion people on the planet, ladies and gentlemen. Your customer, your people, your tribe, they're out there waiting for you. Right, Vanessa? They're waiting for you to write that juice book. They're waiting for you, right? And and I'm gonna brag on her for a little bit. I want to share that Vanessa had a health scare a couple of years ago, and then in March she just undertook this journey of going live every Sunday and Wednesday, and she's juicing, and she's a single mom sharing her story. How many single moms are out there dealing with health challenges that need to hear what she has to say? And she's literally she's the reason I would say that I found my way here, because it was because of her that I got my TikTok following up, so I can start going live and really get exposed to these digital academies, right? So again, I believe every single one of you have a gift inside of you that is meant for you to give the world. But I also believe that there is something that God has in store for you that is so beautiful, that is so rewarding on the other side of this thing that's stopping you right in your tracks. And again, thank you, Miss Sonia, for being so obedient to the call on your life. Thank you for being so humble and willing to share your vision with others, and creating a space for people to be the best version of themselves with tools that you have provided. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stop the recording as soon